I can hardly keep up with all the opinions and commentary floating around right now. I'm back in San Diego. We're not going to talk about Medieval Madness very much. We're going to talk about what I did on this trip. We're going to chat about a D-list wonder. And we're going to have some fun. Let's go. Welcome to Coast2Coast Pinball. Thank you for listening. This is episode number 36. It's October 26th. It's a Saturday night. San Diego, California. It's cool weather outside. I just left the East Coast this morning very, very early. It was so cold in Boston where I left from. I had a very busy week. I wish I had played more pinball because, of course, this is a podcast. It's a commentary, and I'm a man out of quarters, referring to the fact that I like to play a lot of pinball and throw away all my quarters. So I started this last trip out in New York, Long Island, specifically Brooklyn then, and traveled to New Jersey, and then up through upstate New York, accidentally drove into Canada, which is an entirely too long and unnecessary story for this podcast, but just know that sometimes my GPS decides that the quickest route is to go through Canada, but when your travel partner does not have his passport and you have $100,000 worth of guitars in your van, it's not a good idea to do that. So we went through New England, parts of New England, and ended up in Boston. I did not have a lot of free time after the first couple nights. The first few days were great because I had early meetings and then I was done. I went and saw Pearl Jam. I hit up a few awesome places for pinball. I recorded a podcast out there at some point, and that was kind of it. I did run into, on the Massachusetts Turnpike, somewhere out probably like 45 minutes west of Worcester, Massachusetts, at a travel plaza type thing that's off the Turnpike. The guy I was traveling with, who's like a professional guitar player who works for my company, and I'm the district sales manager. We do events. And he and I stopped to grab some lunch at this travel plaza, and they had an AC/DC Pro in there, which I thought was pretty cool. So the guy I was traveling with, I know fairly well. I've traveled with him before. His name's Corey, and he has no idea about Coast2Coast Pinball or about that I'm really into pinball. Probably doesn't even realize I own a couple of pinball machines and that I am, buying a $8,000 remake of a 16-year-old pinball machine. So he saw me, come alive when I saw the AC/DC pinball machine, and I immediately threw $1. It was 2 plays for $1, which, that's fine by me. So he was like ordering food, using the restroom, this, and I'm just like, playing pinball. So I kind of thought, since he's a rock and roller, plays music for a living, he's a guitar player, he would be somewhat interested, and he didn't care. Not at all. Didn't really want to talk about it afterwards, didn't really want to chat it up, didn't ask me any questions. He was just like, oh yeah, that's cool, okay. So, it is what it is. Let's see. Oh, you know what? Let's get this out of the way.
Getting in bed with Teresa.
Hey, Teresa.
Hey, Nate.
What's going on?
I'm in bed.
And we're getting in bed with Teresa.
I'm like, literally, though, like, under the covers, and you're like all up in my face. And I have an allergy/cold.
I felt like you're trying to talk me out of recording an episode of Coast2Coast Pinball tonight.
I wasn't. It's just you just.
Are you against us? Are you against Coast2Coast Pinball?
No, you know that I'm not. It's just you are sleepy. You flew back today and it's late.
It's relatively late.
It's late for me.
It's not late for recording Coast2Coast Pinball. Did you play the games while I was gone? There were 2 pinball machines in that room. You could have played the whole time I was gone. How'd you do?
That room was like a ghost town.
Oh.
I didn't even... The only time I went in there was to put some of your jackets on your chair.
All right, well, people want to know your thoughts on the Medieval Madness remake.
I think it's really exciting. It's like that which we could not have is now attainable,
Yeah.
That's how lots of people feel it.
And you're sure we should spend $8,000 on a pinball machine?
I think
a 16-year-old design pinball machine.
Dude, it's the holy grail. And I feel like
It's not my Holy Grail's already in that room. Twilight Zone's already in
But
there.
in the pinball world, though, it's not. This isn't an individual Holy Grail thing. This is the #1 rated pin of all time. And even you yourself did a podcast about it and how wonderful it was. And now you've done more podcasts.
I think I did a podcast about Dirty Harry, too, and I don't want to own that. I'm just kidding.
Wasn't that a D-List Wonder podcast?
I don't know.
Anyway,
Honestly, I don't remember.
I'm just saying, even if it's a lot of money, eventually you can make that back if you really want to.
You think? Like, flip it? I could be a flipper?
You don't need to flip it.
You
Just
realize
sit
once
on it
I
for
get
a
that
while.
game, I won't want to let
I
it go.
won't want to either.
Do you secretly wish that it was Attack from Mars and not
Of
Medieval?
course. Oh my gosh. If it was Attack from Mars, it would be like, yeah, you're spending the $8,000. I mean, if you walked in tomorrow and said, babe, I just don't think I should do it, I'd be like, sad, but it's fine.
You know, we could buy an Attack from Mars for less than $8,000. You do realize that, right?
We could.
I saw one on the internet today for like $6,300.
Was it in good shape?
It was moderate.
What's moderate mean?
Like, better than the one that we play at that bowling alley.
Then we should just get that.
Really?
Never mind.
Yeah, but it's not brand new. It's not new in a box.
That's true, and this is the limited edition, and it has a tiny...
Don't buy the hype.
Whatever.
I'm
You
just
said they're
kidding.
only doing 1,000 of the fancy kind.
Yeah, the fancy kind with the ugly gold rails and the shaker motor, which
Shaker motor, cool.
I know. Hey
Why
man,
gold?
because that's the limited edition version.
That's
They did
not
some in
fair.
gold. The one in New Jersey at Silver Ball Museum in gold rails.
I've only played it in Vegas.
That one does that
Did
one have
not
gold?
have
It does
gold.
not. Okay, I don't remember.
Anyway, you'll make money off of it.
If I ever sell
I'm
it.
not kidding with the whole... You didn't tell me Attack from Mars was less expensive.
Well, I've seen Attack from Mars go for as much as 10 or 11,000,
Is
but
there one up for sale right
not
now?
locally. No,
You have to pay shipping.
I'd be shipping it. Yeah.
I mean, your gut instinct said to get it, and you put your name on the list.
I did. I want it. I want to be a part of it, if nothing else.
It's so exciting.
It is. It is.
And
So, you haven't played Star Trek yet. Should we go play Star Trek tomorrow?
as long as we don't go late.
Alright.
I have school on Monday. I have a parent conference.
This is not Terry's schedules coast to coast with Teresa.
How do you do that every time?
Stay on topic and that won't happen.
I forget we're recording. I forgot we were recording.
Alright. Well, that's going to be enough. So, say
I'm
goodbye to
boring
everybody.
and sleepy.
You're totally boring and sleepy. You're beautiful, though, but you're boring and sleepy.
It's because you wait till I'm in bed.
That's the segment.
I love you.
Alright. Bye-bye.
Night.
I really did spring that on her after she was basically ready to fall asleep. I'm sort of sick like that. But, yeah. So, I'm going to drag her out. Maybe she and I may not go play Star Trek tomorrow. That's farther south than we'll probably end up being tomorrow. We might just go play some Attack from Mars at the Mira Mesa Bowling Alley in Mira Mesa, California. So, think Top Gun, where they filmed that there. So, all right. I was on the East Coast. One of the things that I set out to do last Saturday night, 1 week ago tonight, is I wanted to go see a new location for pinball in Brooklyn, in like the cool, fun, some might say hipster laden area in Brooklyn. And I will say hipster only as a good thing, as a group of young people who are into socializing and finding quirky hobbies and things that they're into and liking music, and I'll use it as a positive. So I found myself at Jack Bar.
Trip reports.
So at some point this summer, I had plans to go to a place in the Williamsburg area of Brooklyn called the Satellite Lounge, because it popped up on all my pinball websites, and my Pin Finder Pro app on my iPhone is the place to play pinball in Brooklyn. So the trip that I took out there, right before I went to like kind of schedule things and go see it, I read that they were closed. But then also in like the same weekend, I read that it was a good thing because the folks at Reciprocal Skateboards, really I believe John from Reciprocal Skateboards, had bought the Satellite Lounge and was going to open his own barcade type of place. And I use that term sort of loosely because I think barcade, when I think of barcade, I think of more like the 2-Bits Retro Arcade in Manhattan. I think of video games and pinball and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But having now finally gone to John's new place, which just opened a few weeks ago, called Jack Bar in Williamsburg, I can say that it's not so much a barcade as a pinball bar, a bar with pinball. It's only pinball, and I love it. It's a really cool little space. It's smaller than I had in my head imagined, and when I walked in, I was almost shocked. And they have a really nice bar down the left side when you walk in, and then a mural like painting down the right about halfway through, and then at the midway point through the building, it opens up and there's pinball machines, and it's great. And then on the far wall they have pinball machines too, and it was a really I don't want to use the word hip or trendy, or just, it was kind of an open, clean space that I saw fairly early in the evening. I think I saw it about 7:30 on a Saturday night. And there was a half a dozen to 10 people kind of milling around, playing the pins for sure. But I could see this is a sort of spot in this particular area of Williamsburg, which is sort of a high traffic, definitely lots of places to eat and drink and hang out, is getting packed. And I could see people stacking up on these machines. So I rolled in sort of unannounced. I had emailed John at one point and just told him I was looking forward to seeing it, and I hope that maybe he may come on the podcast at some point. We kind of chatted about doing that, talk about the New York City scene. John, of course, also has hosted the Pinferno tournament in New York City, and I think that Jack Bar will now be the new home of that. It's much easier on some levels to get around and in when you're driving to Williamsburg and get into Jack Bar than, say, going into Manhattan and doing Reciprocal Skateboards, which they also own, which is sort of pinball ground zero in Manhattan right now. So I got there. It's perfectly remodeled. They just did it. The games are up. As I walked in, there was actually somebody waist down in a pin, with the playfield up, glass off, and down in the pin, rooting around, working on something, actually working on the Whirlwind. And I started just playing pinball. I just kind of had been driving along a lot that day and wanted to play some pinball. So I just threw a couple dollars of quarters into No Fear to get the little bonus for $2, whatever. Started playing No Fear and looked over, and when I saw the Whirlwind get closed back up, I saw that it was indeed John, the owner, who I'd seen from photos online and stuff, but had not yet met. So anyway, I played some games. He was busy chatting with people, working on stuff. I played their No Fear. I played their Twilight Zones. I love to play other people's Twilight Zones to see how it played and whatnot. So it's cool. I'll give you a little rundown here of what they've got going on game-wise at Jack Bar currently. Right now they have a Twilight Zone. They have a Wizard of Oz, which was not working when I was there. Black Rose. Really nice Black Rose, actually. Jackbot. You kind of have to have Jackbot in your establishment if your establishment is called Jack Bar. I think that's the rules. They had a Whirlwind, the Simpsons Pinball Party, No Fear, and then a game we'll get to a little bit later, a game I'd never seen before that I was pretty stoked that I got to play, Lost in Space, Sega title. So it was very cool. I played about half their games, just kind of ran through and play them. Their games are always in nice working order over at Reciprocal, and I found that to be true here at Jack Bar as well. They did have one other game on the far side of the bar that I didn't really look at real closely, but it wasn't a pin. It was more like a baseball type, drop quarter in old school game. Somebody who knows that side of the arcade world would know more about that than me. Vintage game, though. Very cool. So I didn't have a lot of time because I had to go get to the Pearl Jam concert and didn't know what I'd be looking at, but I wanted to say hi to John. So I walked outside where John was standing and just introduced myself, and it's taken me back a couple times that I've done this now with people who run establishments or work in the industry when they actually know who I am and are sort of familiar. And he and I chatted online. So, but he said he liked the podcast, which was very cool because I like his pinball establishments. So we chatted about pinball a little bit, chatted about Pearl Jam. He was also going to the Pearl Jam show. He had a hookup through Ben Harper, which was kind of badass. I asked him if he'd heard any of the news coming out of Expo at the time, and he immediately said, hey, are they going to update the Metallica code? Which I thought was funny because another friend of mine was also emailing me the same thing as, when am I going to get my Metallica code update? Which, unfortunately, I have no information on. But I asked him if he heard the Medieval Madness remake story, and he had heard, but he didn't know the details, and I kind of ran the details down to him, and he had, I think, the same thought as me, is, yeah, I got to get one of those. So he was already wheels churning in his head, got to get one of those. Sounds like John has a lot of games at his place, too. You know, he lives actually in Manhattan, in East Village. And between Reciprocal, Jack Bar, and his own place, I think he's got quite a few games. Let him know that I had a Judge Dredd. I was sort of looking to trade. He said he has one that he loves, one of his favorite games. So it's really fun hanging out with John, seeing Jack Bar. It's one of those places, so Brooklyn and Williamsburg, if you're going to New York City to, like, see the city, see the sights, this is not really touristy area at all. This is where people live. People live in Brooklyn, and it's a happening place. I mean, there's a lot of fun things to do in Brooklyn as far as, like, nightlife and the scene. And I would encourage you, if you're going to spend any time around New York City and you have a free day, spend a day in Brooklyn and, like, do a little pinball crawl, because there's a lot of pinball machines in a lot of bars down there. It's where I first played in Metallica, actually. And a lot of the places only have one or two, because a lot of these are small shotgun style bars, where it's just, kind of a thin rectangular building. But I think now that Jack Bar is there, that will sort of anchor the pinball scene in Brooklyn for years to come, hopefully. So it'll be very exciting. I'm going to go back in November. I want to chat with John more, probably talk to him via phone for the podcast at some point if we can get his schedule cleared up to do that. So anyway, thumbs up. He said, he relayed to me that the games were being played. People were stacking up on the games at night. It was busy. I mean, I could tell that the night was going to get busy on that street on Havermeyer. Great location, fantastic location. He seemed very happy. Congrats. I think we have a good start there for Jack Bar in Brooklyn. Pinball weekend was not done because Sunday I had the day free and I drove down to Asbury Park, went back to the Silver Ball Museum, which I have done trip reports to before on the podcast. It's one of my favorite places to play pinball in the entire country. And it just so happened another employee who I've mentioned on the podcast before that I work with, who also works for my company, who runs the actual New Jersey territory. I have New York, he has New Jersey, was also out there, and he's also in a pinball. His name's Zach. He and I met up around noon on Sunday at the pinball, the Silver Ball Museum. So we had a blast. We spent, it was almost 5 hours. I think we bought the pass that gets you there till 5 o'clock or something. It was like $15 for all the pinball you can play. Up until 5 o'clock. So we had a great time, and it was really funny because Zach's about 10 years older than me. So he's really familiar with a certain era of game, and then I have my kind of wheelhouse where I know the games. So we were playing two-player games, and then we'd have another game nearby, sort of just going on a one-player, and we would, when somebody would lose a ball on the main game we were playing, and it would switch turns, we would then jump over and kind of like hold the flipper with the ball on it for the one-player game, just so the other player had something to do while we were playing our main game. So when we were on a game like Xenon, he was just killing me. Killing me. I'm not super familiar with the games. Maybe they're not as interesting to me either. Some of them were very fun. We played Centaur a lot too, which is one of my favorite artwork packages on that kind of early 80s era game. But then when we get on, like, Whitewater, I would win, which was, because I've always viewed Zach as a better pinball player than me, so it was pretty fun. And he'd never really played a Whitewater before, and there's none out here in San Diego on route anywhere, and the Whitewater there at the Silver Ball Museum is in great shape. I haven't ever said anything really negative about Whitewater before, but I have said that I didn't see the hype, maybe. Well, I played a bunch of Whitewater last weekend, and I had a really fun time playing that game. I think that's one of those games that sometimes when you don't know the layout really well, you just feel like you're running into everything. It's not comfortable. You're just slapping the ball around and hitting things. But as he and I started playing two-player games on Whitewater, the rules really started coming out to me, and I really started getting to lay out in my head and figuring out where I needed to go because I wanted to win. That's the great part of competition, even on a low level where it's just me and Zach playing against the other trying to get the highest score. You really concentrate. I come home sometimes and play Twilight Zone or Judge Dredd, and I just beat the ball around. Just hit the shots I want to hit in that moment. Well, when I'm trying to play against someone, I'm really looking at what I'm doing, really focused on what I'm doing. Had a great time playing their Whitewater. Played a bunch of Scared Stiff as well. Another game that I love a lot. I have said in the past that the Theater of Magic that's at this place was set up to just like ruin your life. They've fixed it. It was a lot more level. It wasn't as steep, and it played a lot better. So we had a good time playing that too. Spent quite a bit of time playing Wizard of Oz. They've got the code pretty well along now in Wizard of Oz. It's a deeper game than it was on those early episodes of Coast to Coast Pinball when I first went out and started playing it. And I have grown to like the gameplay of Wizard of Oz a lot more. I feel like it's I still don't fully understand what I'm doing sometimes, and all those rainbow targets really do randomize the ball, where the ball's going to go a lot. So my gut on that game is when I get on it, my gut instinct is just to shoot the deep shots, the long shots, the Twilight Zone-esque shots in my head, and shoot those a lot. Stay away from the pop bumpers. Be careful with the witch because the magnets will throw you all over the place. But those rainbow targets, man, I mean, if you're trying to hit those, you can very quickly find yourself careening towards the left out lane and then trying to finish your no place like home game, and it's just it's a tough game. That's not a give me type game at all. But I had a lot of fun on that, so that was good to see. Played some EMs, of course. Went back and played the wood rails. You can't help it when you go to the Silver Ball Museum to kind of play a little bit of everything because there's so much history there, and they've got such a great swath of games. The newest game that I think, new to the location at least, that they've acquired is a Doctor Who, and their Doctor Who is in great shape. So we played a bunch of Doctor Who as well, and I had a really good time. One thing that is a little bit of a downer at the Silver Ball Museum is, and this is probably one of the ways that they keep afloat, because it's got to be expensive real estate. They're on the boardwalk. They're literally, you walk outside the door and the ocean is right there. It's a beautiful location. The downside is they host a lot of children's parties. And so they will have birthday parties. And I guess you rent the place out for an hour or 2 hours or whatever, and you can have 20 kids in there. If we're talking teenagers, that's one thing. As a teenager can kind of grasp a pinball machine and play it and enjoy it and sort of appreciate it. But there was a party in there of probably 15, 16, 10-year-olds, mostly girls. And they were at times running around, and they were very loud, pretty obnoxious. They would start a lot of games. It was kind of the whole thing like you read at the trade shows where people get annoyed at walking up and every game's set on 4-player and then people walk away. There was a lot of that going on. A lot of, 10, 12-year-old girls hitting start, not really knowing what's going on, hitting start again, figuring out how to plunge the ball, and then walking away from 2, 3, 4-player games with, only ball one going through each one. So that's a little bit of a bummer when that goes on, but hopefully some percentage of the people that go in there and have parties for their kids, some percentage of those kids will kind of wake up to pinball a little bit. I listened to Gary Stern's full speech at Expo, and a lot of people on Pinside criticized his speech. And, he rambles. And yes, he clearly had gotten off a plane that morning, I think he said from Italy, and just sort of got up on stage and was saying to the audience, "Oh, I know you've all heard me talk before. Should I talk history or should I talk game design theory?" And didn't really get an answer because I think people thought that Gary Stern, guy who's been running a pinball company for 16 years now. When did he start? A long time ago. So you would think that he would have something planned, and he actually apologized in his speech for not having planned. But one thing that he did say that I really kind of sunk into me is we have to expand who's playing the games, because if we don't have people who find pinball, and experience new games too, if we don't have people going out and finding Star Trek and finding AC/DC and finding Avengers, that those people, when now they're 15 years old or 13 years old, like I was when I first started playing pinball machines, when they're 33, 34, like I am 20 years from now, if they don't see those games when they're 13, they won't have any game to strive for when they're 33 or 43 or 53. And then what? Then we lose that collector, that rush of people who are coming back into it. I think that's why part of the resurgence is happening now, is because my generation that loved those 90s games, we can now afford them. We can buy these games. We're back into it. The internet has also brought us together. So I thought a lot about that when I saw the kids at Silverball Museum, because my first instinct is to be a little bit grumpy, look at them sideways, and wish they weren't there. But I guess it's a good thing. I guess we need kids and, not just dorky-looking white dudes like me playing pinball. We need everybody. We need to reach out to all involved. So I thought Gary Stern actually made some great points in his speech, and I would encourage you to hunt that speech down and listen to it. Some of it I think's been, kind of gone over before, but I found it interesting. Somebody asked him flat out, he did a Q&A, are we going to see an LCD screen? And George Gomez popped in and immediately just said yes. So that is happening. I don't know if it'll be the next game or the next game or what, but that's happening. I think some people ran with his comment, Gary's comment, about we need pinball machines that are easy to learn, difficult to master. I think that they thought that there's going to be some new design idea coming out, and I don't really see that. I think they feel like they're already there. They have games like Metallica where you have this big toy that's so obvious you hit the toy, and he talked about Star Trek being like that. There's a big ship in the back, you need to hit the ship. So I don't know, interesting speech, interesting stuff going on. If you're on the East Coast, go to the Silverball Museum. You'll have a blast. You will love it out there. And I don't know how I've cross-referenced that into Gary Stern's speech somehow, so take it as it comes, I suppose. So I told you I got to play Lost in Space, the pinball machine, at Jack Bar. Well, after doing that, and after doing a little research on Lost in Space, I think it's only appropriate to welcome it.
Welcome to the D-List.
Welcome to the D-List, Lost in Space. You're a Sega game that was born in May of 1998 with the best of intentions, designed by John Borg. Currently, though, you reside at number 226 on the Pinside Top 100. Your ratings have consistently dropped, and your ranking has consistently dropped since they started doing the top 100. You're on a downward slide, I'm afraid. There's only 600 of these things made, so it's kind of rare. It has that Sega look, though. It definitely has that late 90s Sega thing going on. The wire forms when you walk up to it are like coded wire forms. It's a theme based on, I think Lost in Space was a TV show. Sci-Fi Nerds, Teresa, someone help. Almost certain it was a TV show. So it's a busy play field. That's what you're going to notice the first thing when you see a Lost in Space. In fact, when I actually mentioned it to John from Jack Bar, I said, yeah, I've never seen one of those. And he goes, yeah, that's not a good game. He goes, but a lot of people play it. A lot of casual gamers love that game. And when I was in there, that was the game that actually was being played the most. And I had to wait to get on Lost in Space. And I put $1 in it, and I wish I'd only put 50 cents in it. It didn't play very well. I didn't get a lot of sense of the flow. I sat there and tried to figure out the rules. I was trying to figure out how to start the modes. Well, there are no modes. There's no modes in that game. There's 3 different multi-balls that you can achieve in that game. There's a lot of toys. There's 2 spaceships, I think, and then the robot. And I guess the robot's like kind of the hero from the show or something to that effect. So you got to spell robot to do the robot multi-ball. There's the word warning across the playfield. I don't totally understand. There's a fighter, not fighter. Well, I forget the name of the other multi-ball, but it's robot, condition red, and see, I'm blanking. Anyway, just know this: it's a multi-ball game. People sort of criticize this game because it's no modes, lots of multi-ball. when I went back and researched it, the promotion flyer for Lost in Space, the big feature that they were promoting on this game was there was 5 pop bumpers. So that was their big thing. Check out our 5 powerful pop bumpers. Well, you can't even see them because they're buried by all the toys. They're way up in the back, and I could never really even see them. So I think that in a lot of ways, I was looking at it, and I kind of laughed out loud. It's sort of the playfield art that many people, I think, were expecting from Star Trek when Stern was released, because it's a playfield of space and planets and dudes in spacesuits. And I think that's what everyone wanted out of Star Trek, right? Well, if you want that, go find one of the 600 or so Lost in Spaces out there. For me, the key feature sort of, they have a spinning disc that's supposed to be like a planet on the playfield, and it has magnets, and one of the multi-ball modes is sort of like, if you remember the game Twister from the same era, where the magnets pull the balls on the spinning discs, and, you know, a la what later happened on X-Men. Sort of same type of thing. Spinning disc, magnets, multi-ball, the whole deal. So that to me is kind of the cool one. It's a cluttered playfield, it's kind of dark, doesn't play particularly well. I don't know why they only made 600. Well, I do know why. Pinball was dying at that point, and this was also really towards the end of the Sega days when, you know, Gary Stern was looking to buy back the pinball rights and take control of the company again. I think, you know, John Borg was the only designer at the company at the time. So this game just gets lost in the shuffle on so many different levels. I've never seen one before, so there's one in Brooklyn waiting for you to go play it. I wouldn't say that it's like a horrible game, but when you compare it to other Sega titles from that era, something like Batman Forever sort of blows it out of the water to me, just in terms of replay value, fun, even looks and everything. They had a big cartoony look, though, that time period, X-Files included, so it's in that vein, if you know what I'm talking about. So anyway, welcome to the D-List, Lost in Space. May you forever be lost and never find yourself, because I think that's the whole idea.
Check the email.
All right, we're only going to do one email tonight because I'm running out of time, and I got to be really honest with you. I've never admitted this on this show. I'm exhausted. I'm really tired right now. I wanted to record this podcast a couple nights ago, but it has just been a brutal few days. All right, got this email. It's 9 days old, so I'm jumping back to this one. Chad wrote me, "Hey Nate, really love your podcast. Thanks for all you do. Great audio, better content. You're consistently knocking it out of the park. Thank you. I've got a nice set of bonuses coming my way around the holidays, and I want to buy my first DMD pin. We have a sizable collection of video arcades from 76 to 85, in addition to Black Hole and Pinbot as pinball machines. So, if I were only going to buy one game and wanted to spend $4,500 to $7,000, what should I get? We do want to stick with our space video game theme, even though AC/DC is a favorite table on location for us. The options he listed were Star Trek The Next Generation, Tron Pro, as they do have a very nice Tron video arcade game, or Stern Star Trek Pro. Are there any other machines I should be looking at? How does X-Men compare? I've never played it. The Hobbit sings to me, but I've never seen a Wizard of Oz in person. Yeah, not a space theme, more money, and an unknown wait time, but ... Or do I just wait for the mythical Stern Star Wars pin? Thanks, Chad. P.S. When are you and the Soul going to join forces for a special edition podcast? Shivers and Blood has a nice ring to it. He's referencing Josh Blood and Pinball Soul. That's funny. Shivers and Blood. We do both have sort of weird Halloween-esque names or something going on there. All right, let's go back here. So you want to spend $4,500 to $7,000. You want a pinball machine with a DMD screen, and you want it to be space in theme. I got to tell you, out of Star Trek The Next Generation, Tron Pro, and Star Trek Pro, if it's just me today, I go order a Star Trek Pro. I really liked the way that game played. The code's not there yet. They're working on it. We'll have a good code. To me, I take it over Tron Pro. And, you know, I like Star Trek The Next Generation. I'm a little biased because I'm sitting right in front of 2 wide-body Bally Williams games right now, so I don't have any urge to have another one of those. It's a top 10 game. I mean, it's a great game. I don't know. I'd go buy something new. Go get yourself a new Star Trek Pro in a box. You guys, sounds like your wife plays. You're saying we. I think it's you and your wife. If not you and your wife, you and your family. It sounds like you guys would really enjoy having a big box delivered to the house with a Star Trek Pro in it. I think that would be really fun for the holidays, especially. So that's my advice. Are there any other games to think about? Sure, there's Lost in Space. I kid. I mean, yeah, there's the Star Wars Data East game. There's the other Star Trek game. Yes, there are other games. I think you kind of know what you're looking for. X-Men. X-Men's a fun game. I think X-Men, I probably don't give X-Men the credit it's due. I've played X-Men quite a bit. It's got some great shots. I would have a tough time buying an X-Men Pro. I would want a premium. I'd want the features there with what's the disappearing guy? I don't even know what he's called. And then the spinning disc and everything. I would want the premium version there, or the limited, or whatever you got to call it on that particular game. And then The Hobbit, I think The Hobbit's going to be probably awesome. I fear, and I wondered this out loud to Teresa today, am I going to see The Hobbit in a year's time and really be regretting Medieval Madness? Is that possible? Might be possible. I think where Jersey Jack has gone with Wizard of Oz is a game changer, and I think he's only going to build on that. So that's just my opinion. I'm wondering if I will be scrambling to find money to buy a Hobbit once I get to see and play. But I don't think there's any hurry there. So, Chad, I hope that helped you out a little bit. We are going to now wind this show down. That's episode 36, and I promised we'd get to number 50 by the end of the year, so I have some work to do. We're going to make that happen. If you want to get a hold of me, you can email me. My name's Nate. I'm at coast2coastpinball@gmail.com. Website is www.coast2coastpinball. We're on Facebook. Twitter handle is C2C Pinball. I'd appreciate you writing. Let me know what's on your mind. We'll do some more shows here in the next few days. Thanks a lot. Take care.
Thank you.